The OCP Critical Facilities Operations Framework. The process capacity management and optimization is what we will walk through in this webinar. We will look at the process overview, have some lessons learned through customer experiences, and leave you with some final notes on what to consider when working with this process. Let's first look at where the capacity management and optimization is handled in the OCP CFOPS framework. It is part of the delivery model and site management function, and the capacity management is one of those 9 processes. There is another webinar explaining where you can find the framework and download it for free use and modification for your organization. Looking at the site management process called capacity management and optimization, it contains of 4 different parts of capacity management and what to optimize. And this is important to note that optimizing or managing the capacity of availability, for example, is looking at not only, for example, how much power do we use and how much is left until we reach the capacity ceiling, and with this trending increased use we have, when will we hit that ceiling? That is typically the things you do in the capacity management, but you also need to look at the building construction, for example, which means how much area are we using of the maximum space available, and that is split into the different parts of the building. That means the primary area, the technical areas, and so forth. Then when it comes to the environmental controls, it's not only about how much capacity we have to cool and keep the right humidity in the provisioned areas, but also what are our environmental impact KPIs, or the resource and energy use KPIs. When it comes to the telecom and cabling infrastructure part, it's about how much network capacity are we currently using and how long does it take until we hit the capacity ceiling in that. And then finally, we have security systems, which of course entails anything from CCTV to access controls and remote alarm systems for preventing or detecting fires and preventing these things. And that means we can look at these from a capacity perspective, which were the examples you were given here, but you can just as well look at this from an optimization perspective. So if we look at power distribution, how much power are we currently using? What is the, let's say, the PUE, for example, on the power distribution for the whole site? How can we improve that, regardless of how far we are from the capacity ceiling? So this means that the processes here are used, or the areas, if you like, are used both for the optimization of different perspectives of the site, as well as the capacity management of them. So we cover this for the availability, the resource and energy, but also for risks. So what are the risks that we can manage and mitigate and remove? That is a type of optimization. And then we have the quality aspects, the same thing there. What are the quality aspects we can improve on and optimize the quality delivered in our services from different perspectives? And so that is the capacity management and optimization purpose and aim, is really to improve and better ourselves in these different areas. Now, how are we able to do this without collecting data? Well, the data is being collected in the monitoring and reporting process. And that is one of 2 fundamental processes. And that's why that process is so important to have good control of. So if we have a good monitoring and reporting process, that means we get the fundamental data that we use for doing our planning here. Some lessons learned here is that we had a customer where there was a system optimization assessment that was performed on a site, And the conclusion was that the energy use for keeping the temperatures low in the primary area was too high, and that was actually the reason for the system optimization assessment, that it was identified an opportunity for potential optimization, and this was confirmed through this assessment. And the suggested solution in this case was a very hands-on and pragmatic thing, and that was to construct a partition wall to make the primary area smaller, which means less space or less volume, if you like, to cool, and also adjust the site configuration procedure for the site system accordingly, which means if the primary area was cut back by 50%, the site configuration procedure for the site system was to reduce its current capacity load settings. And based on that, there was a service request created, which was executed, and then it was reviewed and approved by the site management function. And it was already 8 weeks later that the actual savings were measurable in the monitoring and reporting process. So this was a very quick and simple win, both financially and from an environmental impact perspective. So some final notes. As I mentioned before, the process relies on reporting from the monitoring and reporting process, and it follows the same site system categories with power distribution and environmental controls, construction, building, security systems, and those things. The optimization should follow the plan, do, study, act model, which means that you plan what you want to do, you do it in a controlled part and study the results, and if the results are as you like it, then you act upon them and put them into the live environment, and then you restart the cycle again. And an important thing here is that the capacity management shouldn't be confused with on-site services. For example, in this customer experience, the example was that a site assessment was made to see if it could be technically optimized. That's an on-site service, and the conclusion was that it could be optimized, but it was triggered due to the capacity management and optimization process actually requesting this. So that's important to have the plan and manage and the execute on site as separate work orders to keep a clarity on that. Hoping you will join us for other webinars on the other processes.